Online visibility is not luck, it's a strategy. Combine SEO, digital PR, and content distribution to grow. Visit organise.com to learn more.
This is you without collaborator. Invisible, just another seagull. And this is you with collaborator. Get noticed in the AI era.
Wix Studio, one end-to-end web creation platform for your agency to deliver exceptional work with absolute efficiency.
The last time I was in Brighton was in 2023, 2 years ago. And a lot has changed. It's a lot in SEO years. Back in 2023, yes, I had ChatGPT do that for me. Back in 2023, 21 out of 136 talks were about AI or LLMs, which is roughly 15%. And this year, it's 48 out of 137 talks, which is 35%. So it's nearly doubled in a couple of years. Back then, 2 years ago, most of these talks were about using AI for SEO or using AI for marketing. But now we're talking about using AI for search or AI search. So since the emergence of LLMs, we as SEOs have taken that topic at heart. We have the data to prove it. We're taking it more and more seriously. Whether you call it AEO, GEO, AI search, it's in everyone's minds. And don't get me wrong, that does make sense because it's search, and we know search intricately. And because tech companies like Google or OpenAI are trying to build AI more and more into their products. And I say that, and a couple of days ago, OpenAI released ChatGPT Atlas, which is their new browser. It just makes sense for AI search to be an SEO topic. But that leaves us with two consequences. The first one is pretty logical. It's that we tend to think about AI search the way we think about SEO. If you've looked at LinkedIn recently, I don't really need to convince you that everyone's talking about doing link building for AI search, doing content tips for AI search and all that jazz, which most of it doesn't actually work. And the reason it doesn't work is the second consequence, is that we are teaching our clients or partners to think about AI search the way we think about SEO. I think we couldn't be more wrong. I'm going to try and explain why. To properly think about AI search, you will have to let SEO go. There's no other way. So let's explore this. Before I do that, I want to leave you with a brief statement. AI is not going to disrupt your future. I mean, it is, but it's already disrupting your present. Whether you are on the 5% of people who are on the sidelines, just waiting for the bubble to burst, or if you're with the 5% of people just on the hype train saying, AGI is around the corner, it doesn't matter. AI is already disrupting your present. And the best proof that I have for this is that. Seen that? Who knows what happened there? Okay, I have a lot of explaining to do. So back on September 10th, Google disabled a num equals 100 parameter from Google search results. That allowed anyone, but mostly rank trackers in ChatGPT, to scrape 100 results at a time. They disabled that because they don't want anyone scraping the results anymore. What happened for us as marketers and as SEOs is that we had a 30% drop in impressions right away. And if you look at clicks, this is the same data. It comes from our client data that we aggregate. It's set for e-com and retail, but it's the same for every website. You have more info here if you'd like to see it. What happened is the clicks stayed flat. So this is not a demand collapse. It's a measurement correction. It has nothing to do with us having fewer humans on website. It just has to do with us having way worse data that we can't trust. If you look at CTR, which is click-through rate, it grew 150%, which makes sense because average position improved as well. Okay, it's minus, but it improved. It gets closer to 1. The reason is that all the rank trackers that were giving us impressions on page 8, page 9, that disappeared. So the mean just improved, right? The result with this is that we have data that we cannot trust anymore. We thought we could a few months ago, but now we can't trust the data. So that makes our job harder, and we have to annotate our dashboards, report differently to leadership. Like, it creates a whole lot of problem. AI is already disrupting your present. This is a graph for AI bot activity. Has increased 75% since July. The reason for that, right here, August, I think, 7, is the release of ChatGPT 5. ChatGPT 5 relies way more on retrieving context from the web, which we call retrieval augmented generation. We're going to talk about that later. Brace yourselves. It relies more and more on RAG, and so crawls go up. That has an effect on your infrastructure, your server costs, and just your website as a whole. AI is already disrupting your present. And I have bad news. None of this will stop anytime soon. We need to stop thinking of AI search as a new channel. We need to think of it as a new customer. AI search will probably never bring loads of traffic to your website, has no incentive to do that. OpenAI is making money, is trying to make money from transactions in the platform. They're taking a cut off of transactions in the platform. So they're not going to send people to you. It's fundamentally different from a search engine. AI is not a new way to be found. It's not a new channel. So you need to begin asking the questions that you would of any other type of customer. Where does it hang out? What type of information does it need? What type of format does it like the information? Does it like to consume the information? What influences it? All these questions are way, way more interesting than how do I rank for X in ChatGPT, and no one is asking them currently. So none of it would stop anytime soon. And that leaves us with 2 questions, fairly straightforward. First one is, how do we know where we are, how we appear, what for in AI search? And the second is, just, what do we do? I'm going to try and answer both questions. So how do we measure all of this? How do we measure AI search performance? And I'm sorry, this is not going to be as straightforward as you'd hope it to be. This is the traditional search engine performance funnel. This is the way we represent it at Spotify. So you've got to be crawled, rendered, but you need to be crawled. Google needs to find your pages. Then it needs to index them. So you can get the idea of how you're crawled from logs. You can get the data of how you're indexed. You can't get it directly, but you can cross-reference a few data points. Come see me afterwards if you want to discuss this. Then you're going to get first-party data here, impressions, in Google Search Console. Google gives you that data. It tells you appeared how many times for this and that keywords in this and that position. And then, basically, organics visit, you make loads of money off of Google search. That's cool. So what happens for AI? It's the same thing. You get crawled, and we can see that in the logs. We're going to talk about it afterwards. It's going to index you as well. We're going to talk about why. The blind spot is here. We have no first-party data. This is where measurement happens, and we essentially have a blind spot. We can use a few workarounds to come up with a solution, but it's essentially a blind spot. And then you can check visits from analytics, and you can kind of estimate how much revenue you're making as well. So before I go further, I need to talk more about logs and the types of bots that OpenAI uses. This is the worst part of the talk. I'm sorry. I hope you'll get through it. OpenAI has 3 different bots that are crawling your website as we speak. The first one's called GPT-bot. GPT-bot is a training bot. So its job is to go out on the web, fetch information to train the next generation of models. So it's not used for whatever is current, present, it's used for, say, ChatGPT 6. It's not the bot that crawls the most, but it's still interesting to understand whether OpenAI is finding your content to train its models on. The second bot is an indexing bot. It's called OAI Search Bot. The PPT formatting did its magic here. Because OpenAI needs to find web content to generate answers, so it needs to know the price of your products, it needs to have an index. It needs to have a database of what content's available on the web, and that's what this bot is doing. So you may say, wait, I thought that OpenAI was using Bing's index. Yeah, I thought too. They're actually using Bing's index. They are scraping Google results, which we discussed previously, and there's a war going on. And if you don't believe me, come discuss me. I have very good proof that they are. And they are also building their own index because they understand that the web is basically useless without an index. So this one is pretty similar to what you'd see for Googlebot or any other crawler. Amazon is crawling as well to get an index of the web. And the third one is the one that we're interested in the most. It's called ChatGPT User. ChatGPT User is the bot that OpenAI sends when it needs more context to generate an answer. So if you ask it about the height of the Eiffel Tower, I'm French, sorry, first example that comes to mind, it probably knows that from the training data. But if you ask it for the best type of shoes or the latest price of a Disneyland Paris ticket, it doesn't know, so it needs to go on the web to fetch live information. This is what we call retrieval augmented generation. In order to do that, it needs to have an index, which is why it's important to understand the whole funnel here. This is the most important bot for performance measurement, because we know that if ChatGPT users visiting your website, visiting specific URLs, your content is being used by ChatGPT to generate answers. You don't know how it's being used, but you know it is being used. So in the end, now that we know everything about OpenAI bots, let's talk measurement. The philosophy is here: blend hard data and directional data to get the best possible picture. We don't have first-party data. We have a blind spot. So the first piece of the puzzle is log file analysis. Log files are server files that log every interaction with every user agent that comes to your server. It will tell you who's crawling your website. It will tell you what the bot is crawling, the proportion between training, indexing, and RAG. And you can use that to infer what the bot is seeing, if that is aligned with what you want it to see, etc. So you can use that information to make technical recommendations. That is hard data, 99% accurate. Then you have your analytics data. That tells you how many visits, how many sessions you got from AI. That can be from source medium, referrer, could be UTMs. ChatGPT sometimes puts UTM parameters. So that can tell you how much traffic you're getting. It's not as reliable because of tracking technology limitations. And you can also infer what people are interested in based on the URLs that receive these visits. So you know what people are actually searching for, the type of thing that you're getting mentioned for in AI search. And it can tell you, if it's set up correctly, I can talk to Jack about that, I guess, it can tell you how much revenue you're getting from AI platforms as well. And the third time is what I'd like to speak about in the last few minutes, is a visibility dashboard. That's what everyone's pursuing at the moment. How do I actually rank an AI search? The only way to do that is to scrape results, is to give the AI a prompt and then see what it outputs. And this is what we call directional data. It's not that reliable, and we're going to talk about why. So you need to wonder, what questions do you need answered? What's actually important for you, for your company, based on your objectives, to know? And what kind of data do you need to answer these questions? If you're still measuring, knowing all of that, knowing everything that we've discussed, if you're still measuring success the way you were 2 years ago, when I first came to Brighton, you've got it all wrong. In AI search, there is no ranking. And this is, if you take one thing away, please take this away. There is no ranking in AI search. An AI search platform is not designed to ordinate and rank results. It's designed to generate answers, natural language answers for users. It's a completely different mechanism. Furthermore, and I hinted at that previously as well, search engines make money off of ads. So it's okay for them to send you to other websites because you just come back to the search engine next time. But OpenAI doesn't currently make money off of ads. And the business model that they're exploring at the moment, for e-com at least, is that they'll make money off of transactions. They don't want to send anyone to your website. Ranking has no meaning in this context. It doesn't mean anything. So you shouldn't be trying to measure it. The second problem with that visibility dashboard thing is that conversations don't happen in a vacuum. When you interact with an AI search platform, you probably are not typing in just a keyword like best trail shoes. If you're doing that, please stop doing that because it doesn't work this way. Users have entire conversations with the platforms. And that has two consequences. One is whatever they input is probably untrackable. Like you can't make up anything that they input. And then the second thing is that your brand may only be mentioned at the 15th step of that conversation, not the first one that you use in prompt tracking. So how do you track that? Virtually untrackable. And then these conversations are personalized. So that leaves us with, unreliable data. And finally, AI is not a search engine, right? People don't input keywords. They have conversations. You don't type in best trail shoes. You say, I've been running for a few months and I'm going to Ireland this fall to have my first trail. And then I've been using these shoes. Can you recommend something under $150 for a 12-kilometer trail? Right? This is very, very far away from best trail shoes. That can't easily be tracked. Okay, so I've been pretty, it's a bit of a bummer. But what should you track then? What do we do about this? This is what we advise you measure. Measure your presence rate. What's the percentage of answers that you're tracking that gets you a mention? Measure your citation share. How many answers have website links or top citation sources? Measure how your brand is perceived. Is it positive, negative, neutral? And do that across the entire journey. Awareness, research, decision. And of course, do that in a lot of models. All of this is in the context of very specific prompts that you've chosen. The way you choose these prompts is very specific to your objectives, but it can be, at first at least, extrapolated from GSC data. People also ask, and prompts that users will be interested in. But you also need to go back to doing good marketing, which is just mapping user intent, thinking about what information people need to actually buy your products or services. So what do you need to do? I know this is lunchtime, and I want you to walk away with something actionable. So what can you do about all of this? First advice is normalize your data. Set September 2025 as a new baseline. Make sure you annotate that in every dashboard. Estimate the synthetic data percentage, so usually it's around 30%. Apply that discount to your past data so you can make year-over-year comparisons. And when you report numbers, report both the raw and the adjusted data. Because the consequence of this is that moving forward, in the next 12 months, everything, if you have a 30% impressions drop following this event, anything that is minus 10% impressions year over year is actually 20% growth. So everyone in your org needs to be, or in your client's org, needs to be aware of this. You need to communicate that, annotate that, and prepare for tough conversations to come. The second step that you can take is to build AI-ready tech foundations. Determine your AI governance plan. What bots do you actually allow? Do you actually allow them to see every part of your website? Who is responsible for that? What's the consequence on your infrastructure costs? All of these questions have to be asked. Analyze the current behavior of AI bots within your logs and make an action plan around it. Can you maybe improve your internal link structure? Can you fix depth issues that may be preventing some crawling, etc.? Look into JavaScript reliance as well. This is not a technical SEO session, but AI bots do not currently render JavaScript. So if you put the price on your e-com website, you inject it through JavaScript, AI bots probably can't see it. If it's critical content that's injected through JS, it's not being seen by AI bots at the moment. So you need a plan for that as well. Look into your structured data. What can you do around that? Can you add new markup? Can you do more? And if possible, use server-side rendering for AI bots as well. This is the same as the JavaScript. If you're interested, just come and see me after. We'll talk about that. And third thing is building an AI performance framework. Look at all of this data by page type, by language. Can you extrapolate any critical piece of information from ChatGPT user crawls on PDPs, on PLPs? Is it crawling only the French version of your website? Is it finding everything? What's the data that you can get from that? Create an AI-specific analytics dashboard. I'm coming back to my 3 pillars here: log files, analytics, and then obviously share of voice tracking. Determine which prompts to track, we talked about this, and then create an AI visibility or a share of voice dashboard, knowing that all the limitations that we discussed, that I talked about, are there to stay. This does not mean we shouldn't get this data. Of course we should have some version of this data. But we need to make sure that it's used in the context of other data and cross-referenced. All in all, you need to build foundations and not take shortcuts. All of this required solid technical SEO, which is having a bit of a renaissance right now. Everything that you do for AI search optimization, whether you call it AEO, GEO, or whatever, everything that you do for that is good for traditional SEO as well. Make sure that you get your structured data right. Make sure that you get your product feeds right. Make sure that you get your data layer clean. Make sure that your content is discoverable, crawlable. It can be rendered by bots. And if it can't be rendered, like with AI bots, just server-side render it. So wait a second, I've spent more than 20 minutes. I've seen the thing. I spent more than 20 minutes telling you AI search is not SEO, and now I'm telling you you should just do good SEO. That doesn't make sense, right? So is it SEO or is it not SEO? Well, I still believe that AI search is not SEO. I believe thinking about AI search the way we think about SEO is very detrimental, and it's setting us up for failure. With that said, it doesn't mean our knowledge of SEO can't be used to optimize for AI search. For now, AI search platforms use crawlers, indexes. They parse content to try and understand it, and then they match it to user intent. This is what we've been doing for decades, right? We know all of that. We're in a prime position to understand AI search, educate around AI search, and help brands perform in AI search. This is in our hands. So in your next meeting, I suggest you walk in with this. I have a strategy that wins for traditional search now while setting us up for AI search in the future. It's foundational work that's going to pay dividends immediately and position us ahead of competition for the next 2, 3, 5 years. You'll get funded, you'll get resources, you'll walk. And the thing doesn't have my talk track anymore. I think we're in a good, very, very good position for AI search right now. We just need to understand the limitations. And thank you very much for your attention.
Demand sphere. Limitless visual insights from the SERPs. Unlimited dashboards and users. Easy to use and easy to scale your growth to new levels.
Wait, before you go, want to stay on track with where search is heading? Download Search Pulse by Reflect Digital today. It's game-changing.
Monthly reporting making you want to shove sharp things up your nose? try Dragon Metrics, the all-in-one SEO software with mind-blowing reporting tools.
You've got two blind spots, keyword rankings and LLM visibility. Now, most tools solve one, but AccuRanker solves both. See how at booth number 18.